Hey, you're in a shrinking circle, two enemies closing in, and the outcome comes down to something you'll never actually see: which data center your shot traveled through before it counted. On a centralized cloud server, that round trip takes 40 to 80 milliseconds. On a 5G edge node, it takes under 10. That's not a rounding error. Global games market is worth $236.9 billion, growing 4.6% a year, and almost none of that growth is happening the way the industry used to define a game. It's happening in the infrastructure underneath it. Centralized hosting routes your input through multiple ISP hops to a distant data center. Fine for a turn-based game. In a competitive shooter, it creates a real gap between what your client predicts and what the server says actually happened. Hybrid cloud cuts that to 15 to 30 milliseconds. 5G edge compute processes collision detection locally, right at the cell tower, and gets you under 10. The market's already pricing this in. Cloud gaming is forecast to grow from $3 billion in 2024 to over $40 billion by 2031. That's not a bet on graphics, that's a bet on milliseconds. The next shift is generative AI agents, and it runs as an actual pipeline. Perception first, small language models and speech-to-text take in player voice and spatial data. Then reasoning, an LLM constrained by guardrails decides what the character does, backed by vector memory so it remembers you across sessions. Then voice and face, generated together in under 200 milliseconds. Then action, the decision becomes a real move in the game world. This pipeline's already running in shipped titles, pub battlegrounds in Zoe, Naraka Bladepoint, and Mir 5. The reported numbers: 36% studio adoption, development time cut 25 to 40%, asset costs down more than 20%. Worth saying plainly, those are studio-reported figures, not independently audited. Here's what studios are reporting, stated precisely: 36% adoption, up to 40% faster development, at least 20% lower asset costs, and a reported 40% bump in player satisfaction scores. All of this supports a business model that's fully inverted. Instead of studios making content for players to buy, platforms now pay third-party creators to keep players inside the platform. In 2025, total payouts across major UGC ecosystems crossed $2.2 billion, 47% higher than the year before. Roblox paid creators over $1 billion in 2025, crossing that mark for the first time. Fortnite's Yufin has paid over $1 billion cumulatively since its 2023 launch, two different platforms landing on the same billion-dollar floor. The competition between them shows up directly in the numbers. Epic's offering creators 74% net revenue on direct item sales through 2026. Roblox raised its creator exchange rate 8.5% and expanded payouts for mature content by 42%. This is a straight-up bidding war for creator talent. What the payout totals don't show is distribution. Top Roblox studios average tens of millions of dollars a year. Median creator earnings are, by every account, far lower. This is a power law market, not a middle-class one. For decades, matchmaking assumed competitive parity was what kept players engaged. Pair equal opponents, and every match is basically a coin flip. Retention studies out of UCLA and Electronic Arts found the opposite. Forcing a 50% win rate makes both skilled and casual players quit faster. So publishers built engagement-optimized matchmaking instead. Across 36.9 million matches, churn risk spikes at specific outcome sequences. 3 straight losses, a 5.1% chance you quit within a week, the highest in the dataset. IAM treats this as a graph problem. Every waiting player is a node. Every possible pairing is an edge, weighted by combined churn risk. The system solves a minimum weight matching to route you away from the sequences that would make you quit. The measured result, roughly 15% higher retention over an extended session. That's a real number, and it should make a player a little uneasy. If a match is selected to interrupt your losing streak instead of reflecting your actual skill, the competitive result you're experiencing is, by design, not neutral. The industry's own fix, hybrid systems with bounded skill constraints, is basically an admission this creates a trust problem it hasn't fully solved. The second complication runs in parallel. Modern cheat tools read raw screen output with computer vision and inject inputs through hardware devices. They never touch the client's memory, so signature-based detection can't see them. The countermeasure has to work the same way, infer intent from behavior, not from access to the machine. Edge latency, generative agents, creator payouts, engagement-optimized matchmaking, 4 systems, 1 architecture. Faster and more responsive is an easy win. Optimizing your opponent for retention instead of fairness is not. That tension, not the latency numbers, is the actual story here. This has been Zebanastic.